So just when you thought this video was going to be a part of the updated build series for 2020, he goes and does something else again. First off, apologies for halting that series when I was so close to completing it. Out of the 21 perk decks, holy shit, I got through 18 so far and then came to a big slowdown. This was due to two main factors. The first one being, I started to make the list ranking videos, which not only have been more fun to make, but also take so many more hours to produce. So that meant I had no time to make any other types of videos. The second reason is that I got to a point where I only had 3 perk decks left and just had no passion for what was left. Either way, here we are with another build video, but one I get asked a lot about on my live streams as it's been a staple of mine for the past couple of months. So I've moved away from stoic and kingpin and now I'm being asked what I'm using, so I can show more consistently with this through a video. As with all the builds I use, I always leave a little room, whether stated or implied, to use your own creative license, as no two players are the same and everyone has some particulars that they prefer to others. So as I go through what I use, I will serve you options of both what I also trade off and use and also what potentially you could find use in as well. Without any premeditated video title or thumbnail before we get into this, it may or may not have been indicated that this build is an Anarchist loadout, utilizing some of the best aspects of a solid perk deck that a lot of players find use in. A quick look to Anarchist as a recap is that fully spec'd out, it takes half of your health and converts it at a rate of 120% to armor, leaving you with half health but substantially more armor as a result. The other notable pieces in this perk deck are the armor regeneration, 2 seconds of invincibility when the armor breaks, and that you can regen armor by inflicting damage. Let's look at these pieces individually, really quick for those not familiar with it at all. Armor regeneration with Anarchist is like none other in that once some is lost, it ticks back in a predefined increment at predefined times. The basics of it are the lighter the armor you use, the faster the armor comes back, but it comes back in smaller increments. The heavier armor you use, the slower it comes back, but in larger increments. Here you can see on screen both the amount of armor per amount of seconds for each. For the invincibility section, this is a simple concept. Once your armor fully breaks, you will start a 2-second timer. For these 2 seconds, you cannot take weapon or melee damage. Once utilized, the cooldown on this feature is 15 seconds, so beware, as if your armor breaks while this is recharging, it isn't going to end well. Choose wisely what you want to do with these 2 seconds of invincibility, be passive or aggressive. I found most success with being aggressive due to 2 factors. First off is the bullseye skill. Grabbing a headshot will get you some armor back, enough to tank 1 more shot, and the other factor is the last part of this perk deck itself. In this, you will get 10 armor back for dealing damage, with a cooldown of itself of 1.5 seconds. So if your armor breaks and you can land a headshot or any damage, you'll get enough armor back to take another shot immediately. Being able to cycle this with bullseye and the perk deck makes it very strong, and when done correctly, makes it difficult to be downed. For my most current build then, let's take a look at the base of this build and then talk about the alternates. My level 100 version of this build has Inspire, but I feel like I've played so much as a lower level due to a recent account reset, Inspire has been the last on my list to get, as it actually doesn't help me stay alive. It helps me keep my teammates alive, so if you're feeling selfish, you could save a ton of points by not getting this one, but it may not go down well with your buddies. In the controller section, I grabbed these Joker skills. First off, we get a couple of distracting meat shields that also do some killing for us, but we also get a sweet 30% health buff, which with Anarchist translates to more armor due to the aforementioned armor/health conversion. In Enforcer, grabbing Resilience Ace for flashbang resistance and then Bullseye Basic for the chance to grab enough armor back to take 1 more shot with a headshot. Again, coupled with the last card on the perk deck, this skill alone makes this perk deck very powerful if done correctly. Next, Oppressor. Here I grab Steady Grip Ace for stability and accuracy for our weapons, then onto Surefire Ace to be able to hit our enemies through their armor. Finally grabbing Lock and Load Basic to be able to fire while sprinting. In Ghost, the basic mobility skills of Duck and Cover and Parkour Basic for stamina and movement speed. In Silent Killer, I take the Professional for more accuracy with our silenced weapons, Low Blow Ace for a 30% critical hit chance, and then Unseen Strike for a further situational 35% critical hit chance. Fugitive is 9 Lives Ace for the extra down before custody, and then onto Bloodthirst Basic and Berserker Aced. Bloodthirst is a great skill if utilised and understood. Check out my recent one-hit melee dozer build linked in the description to get more info, but with low health and some stored kills, you can one-hit dozers with certain melee weapons. Finally, with Berserker is the scalable damage increase based on our own health. As soon as our health drops below 50%, we get a constant damage boost relative to where our health sits. Having barely any health, we can achieve a 100% increase, and for reference, if we have 30% health, then we would obtain a 40% damage boost. With Berserker and the crit chances from Unseen Strike and Low Blow, we're able to buff the damage of our weapons pretty well, and with the ability of landing body shots with Surefire Ace, it doesn't require 100% headshot accuracy, even though we still aim for the head of course. So with all these base skills, we are left with 12 points to play around with. I often change up what to do with these and suggest you do the same to find out what you like the most. If you want to give your body shots a boost, you have enough here to ace body expertise and transfer some of that headshot damage to body shots. You could also just do basic on that one and take 8 points to go somewhere else, maybe something more heist specific. If the heist needs drilling, take some basic drill skills, or transport a basic for bag throwing. The option of acing Joker to give your Jokers more firepower is also an option. If you want to deviate from the weapons I show later, then Inner Pockets Basic and Optical Illusions Ace can help increase concealment overall and open up more options for different weapons. Another version I've played with is to go for the Frenzy skill itself. Some players do not like Berserker without Frenzy, and adding damage reduction to an increased armor build goes hand in hand. To get this aced, I removed the Confidence skill and dropped to just one Joker. Then I added Bloodthirst aced and grabbed Frenzy aced. This tactic I also used in order to get Iron Man basic if you wanted more of that armor buff instead of the damage reduction. Iron Man given a 30% armor buff, again by removing Confident, dropping to one Joker, grabbing Die Hard and Transporter basic, and then Iron Man. After this, you'll be left with 4 points, again maybe for drill skills or make your single Joker deal more damage. Underdog Ace could also be got for situational damage reduction and weapon damage increase, or even basic on body expertise. So many options and worth trying to see which one suits you the best. For melee, I do like the Ice Pick for concealment and damage, and being one of the 15 melees that can one-hit a dozer, this one works really well for me. Concussions for throwable in order to be thrown down and GTFO, and then the armor is the 2-piece suit for mobility and the fastest armor regen ticks. Weapons, I'll show a couple of options here, as using the same ones for me just gets boring. I mainly use assault rifles and SMGs as secondaries on this build. 3 assault rifles that are fun for me here are the Union 5.56, the Clarion, and even the Car 4. A huge factor with assault rifles in Payday is the ammo pickup versus the amount of shots to kill. Sinking 15 shots into an enemy only to pick up 3 ammo when they do eventually die is not a great scenario, and it's worth sacrificing some weapon damage for ammo pickup if it creates that good balance. These weapons of choice here have an easy time taking down enemies in relation to their ammo pickup rates now shown on screen. For secondary, the Mark 10 has some crazy kill times, taking down dozers in seconds, or even the Judge with Dragon's Breath complements Anarchist really well. The Cobra SMG is also really good. Remember, play around with the attachments and Inner Pockets and Optical Illusions Ace skill to adjust for detection to stay in the low blow activation numbers. So that's it, a no-nonsense Anarchist build that I've really enjoyed playing a lot recently. Here's some gameplay of me using it, and I will see you next time.
Oh shit! I took the shield out! Dozer! The shield is dead!
Medic, that is keg. Big fella incoming.
The dozer is down! Move it! Stay in cover! Motherfucking taser! Taser is dead! Run! Shield is down! I got the taser! The taser is dead! Drop your gun!
Push out! Go up!
Check your ammo! Watch your back! Let's go!
Ah, there we go.
Drop your weapon! The dozer is dead!
Time locks have kicked in. All right, key cards. We're going to force this. Great. Now, please keep the cops away from the time lock.
Dozer!
Big guy.
I took the shield out!
Whoa.
Follow me! Onward! Now!
Ruin back!
Drop your weapon! Hands up! Form over! I got the dozer!
Ah, there we go.
Through Dozer! Help the Payday!
Come on! Move! Follow it!
The cops mess with the time lock. Get it going again. Good. Now keep the cops off of it.
Oh shit! The dozer is down! The Hey, Wolf!
This way, dude.
Drop it, now!
Cops have messed with the time lock. Restart it. Quick.
Got that shield!
Good night, Taser!
Cloaker nailed.
The Taser is dead!